Welcome to another Read This podcast. Today, the main focus is going to be talking about how important a competitive men's group is. All right, so let's get started. The great thing about being in a competitive men's group is pretty simple. It makes everyone better. That's how we are as men. We're competitive. And because we're competitive, you create this environment where, we have to be competitive. Or even if we don't have to be, just see everybody else doing it, it's just going to make you better. I can relate in a couple ways. I've moved several times in my life to a different location in order to grow, and it's something I've always done. And it's probably the easiest thing you can do that will force you to grow. So, I graduated high school. As soon as I graduated high school from Minko, Oklahoma, 2 days after I got back from my senior trip, went straight to Montrose, Colorado. My mother was there. I stayed only there for a couple months. Next thing you know, I moved to Denver, and I was there for almost a year. And I was trying to figure it all out. I was 17 when I moved out, And I remember I had to wait till I was 18 before I could have a waiter job at Red Lobster. I remember thinking that place was fancy back in the day. But, I moved there, and then I ended up settling in Grand Junction, which is an hour away from Montrose. And the reason I settled in Grand Junction is because there was actually a pretty strong bodybuilding community. The college was there. There was people my age that were doing things that I wasn't doing. And I was forced to be around people that were good at shit because, when you're in high school and, we were a pretty competitive school, and I was pretty popular, and I had a name and all these things. I didn't have none of that when I moved to Grand Junction, Colorado. So when I did that, right away it forced me to grow. I started having to figure out new ways to gain respect, because as a man, you want other men to respect you. That's just how it is, And because when you do that, then you start to have some sense of value. And you feel like you're bringing that value to whatever circle you're in. And so that's what we're talking about here. After that, I lived there for a while, 7 years. I moved to Las Vegas when I decided it was time to go. I moved to Las Vegas with $232 in my pocket, a blanket and a pillow, all my clothes. And I went down there and decided I was going to be a pro wrestler, get a contract wrestler for the WWE. Took me 2.5 years, got my contract wrestler for the WWE. That moved me to Tampa. Cool thing about moving me to Tampa is following my dreams when I did it, but what I didn't realize is Tampa is, South Tampa in particular, is a really great place for fitness. So, it brought me to Tampa, and, due to issues I had with my knee and some other things going on, I got released from wrestling after I got injured. My third battle royal match, tore my ACL. I got injured and got released. And then I was in Tampa, and I stayed there because I was training at Powerhouse Gym downtown Tampa. Shout out to you guys, Matt, Eddie, John. Love you guys. They created the coolest thing ever. I mean, there were so many top athletes down there. I was just exposed to people that were so much better than me in all these different areas that I had to get better. And that's when I ended up writing my book on nutrition and figuring out that I was able to find answers to nutrition that other people didn't have. And so then I had a value. And so these are just some of the stories I'm telling you to understand how important it is for you to have a man group. From there, I moved to LA, Gold's Gym Venice. Now, let me tell you something. When you go to Gold's Gym Venice, at least at that time before everything fell apart and everything changed, the vibe changed and everything, you were going to swim with the sharks. That's where you were going. Best of the best was there every day, all the time, nonstop. And honestly, I wanted to be prepared before I left there. So I knew that one day I would get there. I knew one day I'd get there, one day I'd train there. But I wanted to be prepared. So I was sharpening my craft as a bodybuilder, And I wanted to make sure that I could make an impact and hang with everybody when I was there. Fortunately for me, I did well enough. By the time I got there, there was, people that knew me. That didn't matter. Because when I got there, all I wanted to do was fucking be bigger and stronger than everybody. I did a pretty damn good job of it too. But guess what? Everybody else is doing the same thing. And that was the most competitive man group I ever been in. You know, you'd ramp up for that, and there's no slowing it down. Every day was a thing. So, having said that, let's talk about some of the things as a man that you need to possess to bring value to your men's group. Okay? First of all, discipline. Discipline is first and foremost the most important thing that a man can possess. Because with discipline, then we start saying things like, okay, now we're going to be disciplined. All right? Now we're disciplined. Now what? No porn, no alcohol. You're going to get up early. You're going to be reliable, resourceful. Because when you have discipline, you got to make choices all the time to do the right thing, you know? And, you know, porn has literally like ruined so much of society by the way it's influenced men and women to think things are normal that are not normal, to think behaviors are normal that are not normal. And if, you know, I heard Ben Pekulski talking about just the other day, you know, he does, he's a very insightful guy and he's very intellectual. I learned a lot from him and I have a lot of respect for him. You know, he says, you know, anything that you habitually do, you have a habit you can't stop doing, controls you. And I'll say it fucking owns you. So where discipline comes in is discipline says, no, you don't own me. I own me. I decide, you know. And so if you can possess discipline, you're going to bring a lot of value to the man group, whatever man group you're in, you know. And I've always been able to be disciplined. That's something that comes very naturally to me. So we're focused on discipline, right? You know, a lot of people ask me, how do you stay motivated? How do you keep doing what you do? You know, honestly, I don't know another fucking way. I don't know another way to be valuable. All I ever wanted to do was be jacked like Arnold Schwarzenegger and then eventually do movies. And I thought, you know, I wanted to be in politics and things like that, but I have a different idea for that down the road. We'll get to that one day. But at the end of the day, I wanted to be jacked. And so how is being jacked going to bring value to a group? Everybody's good at something, you know. I remember when I was 17 years old, I was doing abs every day. Every day I did abs. You know, I had basically stole a key to the gym in town because there's no gyms in town. I used to jog to town 2 miles, had no vehicle. And I would go borrow a key from one of the coaches, and then I would go work out at the high school gym. Well, the problem is a lot of times I would just jog to town and no coach would be home to let me borrow a key to go to the gym. So one day I decided next time I get a chance, I'm just going to have one made. And when I have a key made, now I don't have to worry about if I can go to the gym or not because I have my own key. Well, wouldn't you know, as soon as I had that key made, the very next day, I was in the gym. I was in class. And Coach Burnett, we didn't always get along so good, but we ended up really forming a pretty respectful relationship between the two of us. He came to me, held me after class, and he said, hey, Aaron, you know, I know about that key you had made. I said, shit. I said, what are you going to do about it? He's like, well, I know that you just want to work out. Like, I know that. I'm like, yeah, man. He's like, so I tell you what I'm going to do. He's like, I'm going to let you keep it, but you got to give me your word you're going to be responsible because that's school property. And I said, don't worry. He's like, I don't want no funny stuff going on. He's like, you want to go down there and train? You can. You know, don't screw this up for yourself. I said, I won't. I said, you're good. I was like, yes. I had my gym. I'd go anytime I want. Trained every day. Everything in there, minus the leg press and the hack squat. It was a versatile to do both. Everything was made by the kids in ag class. That's where I started. And it took discipline to go every day. It took discipline to get abs. It took discipline. And everyone else saw my discipline. And that's when I started to become a value at a young age. Because I would go hang out with my friends and we'd go to the lake. Anything outdoors, I'd take my shirt off, And I remember like Jacob Browning, one of the older guys, he was like 22, I was like 17. He's like, "What the fuck, Reed?" He says, "Why don't you put a shirt on? You're making us all look bad." I said, "No, suck it, motherfucker." I said, "That jacked up truck you got over there is pretty cool. I don't got one of those, but I got these. So you have to deal with it." He was like, "Fair." And, I was on my way, and I talk about that because this could be you. If you're the disciplined one in your group, us guys, when it comes to different shit, it's like we're all good at different shit. I got friends of mine that are Navy SEALs, and they're good at all things, but they specialize in different things, And it's like a football team. Everybody has a different job, And if you're the guy that is always in shape, that's always eating right, always makes it a point to do that, you're going to pick everyone else up in the group around you. That's what you're going to do. Because everybody else eventually is going to feel like they can do a little bit better. Because if you're so disciplined that you do not buckle, that you do not change, that you always go, that they start asking you things like, "Hey man, are you dieting or can you come have some fun?" When you're that guy, you become that guy, like there's respect there. And that's what being a man is all about, is getting respect. Because when you get respect from other men, you're a value. End of story. That's all it takes. So, when I'm talking about these different things, I start with discipline. And, nowadays there's a lot of different, men's groups out there. And I think a lot of them kind of, go off on a tangent trying to hate women too much. Trust me, I got my hangups with the modern woman, or the modern Western woman, but I don't necessarily believe that the answer to fixing our issues with the modern Western woman is to shame them and belittle them and go over the top with it. I think that because then you start to include everybody and all of them and everything. And it's like, I think if we just kind of shun the women that possess the behaviors that we don't agree with, and we make it a point to give attention to women that do have the behaviors we like, I think there will start to be a movement where women are smart. Women are followers. They're not leaders. They're not. And you can see that by any time a woman gets with a new guy, she's going to become some different person with that guy. Like every time. Like the way she talks, what she's into, what she likes, what she does, she'll do whatever he's doing. He's into guns, she's going to be into guns. He's into working out, she's going to be into working out. He's into racing, she's going to be into racing. Like that's what it is. So, when we try to decipher all these different qualities that make you a man, that make you strong, that make you a value, I think that all the issues with women will just follow in lockstep. And the ones that don't, those fat bitches out there that can't get a man and no one gives them any attention, so they're just angry and they're just sloppy and gnarly. Like nobody's listening to them anyway. So who gives a shit, So I guess before I move on, what I would like to say is, so we're going to focus on discipline, right? Do that. And with that comes, you're going to train your body. You're going to train with weights. And it's going to be a painful process. It needs to be. You need to experience pain on a regular basis as a man so that it's so difficult that everything else is easy. What do you think the hardest part of my day is? What do you think the hardest part of my day is? You think it's making this podcast? You think it's this? You think it's making a phone call to my warehouse, my supplements, calling a manufacturer, trying to get a better deal, trying to, get a better bargain? What do you think it is? The hardest part of my day is my favorite part of my day. It's going to the gym and beating myself. It's going to the gym knowing that, my elbow's bothering me, my shoulder's bothering me, my back's bothering me. I don't care. Fucking train anyway. I'm going to train whatever I can train. I'm going to train hard. And, it's like there's so many times I'm in the gym, and this needs to be your mentality, guys. Like, don't bitch and complain. Wake up and be a man. Wake up and be a man. Men are physical. We're physical. We are. I work with so many people in all different walks of life, and all of the most successful people that I know train with weights. Period. So if you're not training with weights, you're missing out on being a man, because it hurts. It makes you tired. It's difficult. Sometimes you're already tired when you get there. Sometimes you're already hurt. Sometimes you're already sore, but you do it anyway. And this makes you have grit. This is where determination and discipline go hand in hand. And this is forming your character, making you more of a value to any group that you walk into. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Let's say you got 5 people in a group. Who is the most valuable person in that group? Oh, wait. It's the person providing the most value. Simple enough, right? Who's the least valuable person in that group? Oh, wait. This is where everybody says the one that produces the least amount of value. No. The one that produces no value or takes away. Because the person that produces a little bit of value is still producing a value. And I can work with that. You can work with that. They're trying to be a value. But a lot of times there's people that are not trying to be a value. So it's important to think about that. And I think with weight training, it just develops a strong mental fortitude that will turn you into a powerful man, a very powerful force. So before we move on, I want you to listen close. Discipline is your new superpower. You hear me? I had a friend of mine tell me last Saturday. He says, really, Aaron, your discipline is your superpower. He told me that. And it got me thinking. Doesn't cost anything. You can do it from anywhere. And he told me, I respect the hell out of you, man. There it is. There it is. As the juggernaut, once I get momentum, I'm an unstoppable force. I love that. But guess what? You can be the same. And you'll get momentum with discipline. It's the best way to do it. Once you start gaining confidence because you're training so hard, you're banging weights, and then next thing you know, your abs start peeking through, the fat starts melting off, you start looking good, people start looking at you differently, start feeling differently, start walking differently, start talking differently, you start engaging with women differently because you realize you're a force. And then the greater force you become, the farther you go, the harder you work, the more that you do, the more you realize how nobody's doing shit. Nobody's doing shit, and you start to notice it. And then once you start to realize oh, wow, I just got myself in a category nobody's in. There's very few people here. And then you get to walk through life with a superhero outfit on, Might as well have a fucking mask and a cape because people start looking at you differently when you're shredded and when you're jacked, And people will say things talk about steroids or performance enhancers, all this shit. You just need testosterone, most men. Nowadays, our environment's fucked. Our food system's fucked. Everything's all fucked. Government's telling you eat the wrong shit. Everybody's trying to hold you back. Cholesterol, too much cholesterol was a lie. Sodium, too much sodium was a lie. Too much testosterone was a lie. Soy is a lie. What else do we got out there? Man, I just feel nicotine was a lie. I'm just learning about that. You know, nicotine's not a chemical we make. It's naturally occurring in foods. It's naturally occurring in tobacco. Just like in marijuana, THC and CBD is naturally occurring in marijuana. And we've demonized that plant. We've demonized tobacco. I mean, what else? Lied to us about fluoride. I can't even go into it. Got a shadow ban on Instagram for talking about that one. Welcome to check that out. Lied to about COVID. We lied about all kinds of shit. They just keep lying to us about shit. They lied to us about saturated fat. Lied to us about margarine. Lied to us about seed oils. So, yeah, if I'm sitting here telling you, maybe you need to take testosterone, what do I know? I just have immaculate blood work. What do I know? What do I know? 310 pounds, perfect blood pressure. I ate around 8,000 to 10,000 milligrams of sodium daily. But what do I know? I literally have immaculate, near perfect blood work. Nothing is high, nothing is low. My testosterone is high. According to what they say it's high, mine's out of range. But let's think about this for a second. If my testosterone is out of range and every other blood marker is within range, maybe the ranges are wrong. Think about that. It's your life. You know, you want to be, tired and fat and can't get erections or hang out with, a pretty girl or a younger girl, whatever, because you think you're in your 40s and life is over. I mean, that's on you. If that's what you want to do, it's fine. But as soon as you step into a strong, powerful men's group, you're going to realize, nah, you're not happy, because you're going to see what happy dudes really look like. The respect they get and they command when they walk into a room, whether it's at work, at the gym, at the bar, at the grocery store, at the park, with the kids, whatever. Once you see that, you're like, I want that too. And you can have it. You can have it. So saying all that, I'm going to say this. In my super squad, that is what you get. You get me and a whole bunch of other guys in there holding each other accountable to be stronger, to be a bigger value through discipline, perseverance, goal setting, and reminding each other that anything is possible. You remember when they said it was impossible for somebody to run a 4-minute mile? A lot of young guys don't know about this, but this is a thing. They said nobody can run under a 4-minute mile. And then one person did it. And now high schoolers are doing it. I love it. I love it. And that's due to a strong men's group, because in a competitive environment, you don't know what you're capable of until you've pushed way beyond the limits that anyone ever thought was possible in the mortal realm. So before you get done with this podcast today, I want you to realize that discipline is your new superpower. You hear me? Because with discipline, you're going to be able to get up early, train hard. You're going to be reliable. You're going to be resourceful. Say no to porn. Say no to alcohol. Say no to drugs. Whatever. You're going to start training with weights. Discipline makes you comfortable with the uncomfortable when you know it's part of the process. That is your new superpower. And that is what I teach in my super squad. That's what it's all about. I look forward to seeing you in there. Well, let's talk about discipline as it applies to attracting a woman or dealing with a woman. Women are attracted to strength and power because they seek security. And where are they going to get security? Somebody that's strong and powerful. Women have 3 basic needs: emotional security, financial security, physical security. I don't believe that we're equal. I don't believe for a second that we're equal. We're like a team. They get their strengths, we got ours. Yeah, we're equal as people, but we're physically not equal. Women are just not capable of the things that men are capable, but they're really good at other things that we are not. And, it's unfortunate that this huge feminist movement has convinced women to be a boss babe. I'm a boss bitch. I can pay my bills. I don't need a man. You know how immature you sound bragging about paying your bills? Like, if some dude brags to me about paying his bills, I'm like, shut the fuck up. I moved out of the house when I was 17. I'm like, okay, ladies, you can pay your own bills. I've been doing that since I was 17. Wow. You know, no one gives a shit. And I say that because at the end of the day, it's not just the women that do that. It's the women that like try to be some kind of way, because the way it works is like this. Like if it was the natural order of things, women that made a whole bunch of money would be nice about it with their men and still show their man respect. But that's not how it works. A lot of times women, you know, because they make money, now they look down on a man, you know? It's like this. If a boss babe walks into a Starbucks, she's looking good, and there's a man that gets her coffee and hands it to her, she has zero respect for him. He might as well be invisible, because to her, zero value. Zero value. Let's flip the script. Powerful man walks in, orders a coffee, Starbucks. Cute girl hands it to him. Thanks. He's looking at her thinking, she's cute. He's going to be nice, going to be respectful. Maybe he's going to potentially hit on her, compliment her, or something like that. It's completely different. It's completely different. It's completely different. So, you know, my point here is not to bash women and say like, you know, we're great and you're not. That's like not what I'm trying to do here. But what I'm trying to say is through discipline, you are going to become a value. And the greater value you have, the more respect you will command from men and women. And here's the other thing. Like, you got your work cut out for you. Like, let's say you're listening to me for the first time. You're tuning in with the big guy. You've seen my stuff. You're like, holy shit, man, I'm never going to be 6'7", 310 pounds, peeled, 5-6% body fat, doing all these things. I'm never going to be that. Okay, maybe not, but you could be 5 or 6% body fat, and you could be jacked. Might not be taller. And guess what? One thing I know about women is nothing is more attractive to a woman than a man on the rise. Because a man on the rise is very different than the man that's already established. When you got the man that's already established, he's got money, fame, respect. Every woman that comes across is feeling like judged or trying to find her place or trying to get him some way. And it's funny because, women will say all the time, like, I'm the prize, I'm the prize, I'm the prize. You think that until you meet a guy that's taller than you, stronger than you, smarter than you, makes more money than you, more physical than you, better provider than you, happy to be a provider. Then you realize, like, wow, he's the prize. So it's a very slim number of men that are that. And so if all the ladies are just trying to get that, there are going to be a lot of unhappy ladies out there, because a lot of you ladies out there think you're a lot prettier than you are. I mean, I hate to break it to you. It's funny too, because as women age, that's also a thing. Like, I just don't think that a beautiful woman that is single in her 30s can be a 10. And the reason I say that is, let's say you got a girl that's 32, smoking hot, not married, she's single. She's a 10? No. At best, she's a 9. If she's married, she could be a 10. If she's married, she's a 10. But if she's single, at best, she's a 9. And you're like, Aaron, why would you say that? Okay. Take a girl that looks just like her, and she's 22. So that's not more desirable. That's the 10. Make sense? So I'm just breaking these things down for you a little bit, because, there's a lot of women out there that literally have no grip on reality and think that, like, I don't know, maybe that they're so pretty that dudes are going to fall over themselves to deal with them. I mean, it's a fact. Like, the prettier a girl is, the crazier they can be, you know? There's a whole bunch of fat girls out there that think they're hot shit, you know, because a bunch of black dudes, you know, said they were. I saw a little meme talking about it. It's so true. It's so true. It's funny. The woman went on to say, like, you know, you can't be a 10 and have diabetes, okay? Like, those girls used to be nice. Like, you need to be as sweet as your blood sugar, honey. That's what she said. Oh my goodness, hilarious. Okay, I'm getting off on a tangent a little bit, but I'm not. Okay, I'm coming back. I'm bringing this back around. Here's why. So, yeah, the guy that's established, the girls that come, they go, whatever. They don't really have any place in that man's life. They don't have that sense of security a lot of times, you know. Maybe they think if they put it on him well enough, they're going to keep him around. But then there's always the idea of, well, he got me and he has all this. Maybe he'll go for a younger girl. So, saying that, having said that, a man on the rise is the most attractive thing to a woman because they'll notice it. And they'll see how you're carrying yourself and they'll see the opportunities that are coming. They start to light up because they think, if I jump on this train while it's headed up the mountain, I get him right now, I'm going to be set because I can grow with him when he gets to the top. That's what a smart girl's thinking. So for all you guys out there that are like, oh man, that's too far gone. I'm never going to be this. I'm never going to be that jacked. I'm not going to be, you know, all these things. Work on discipline. Start grinding and watch what happens. You want to change your life? I'm telling you, all you got to do is get down to about 7% body fat. Might even work at 8, but get to like 6. Holy shit. It doesn't really cost anything. You just have to eat less. And you do that, and you're going to possess momentum because now you're using discipline to make better choices, to change your life, because now you have a target. And so then when you move within a group of men, you're going to get all this respect because when you sit around 6 or 7% body fat, most people don't. So now you have that. Now you have this. Now you have this value because we all know it took discipline to get there. Think about it. That's why there's respect with it all. I can travel the world, and I have gone everywhere, you know? Every time I go somewhere, if I stop to take a photo in front of a building, you can see what I look like. Man, people just come up and want photos. I mean, I remember I was in Turkey, people were just crowding me and like handing me their babies and stuff, and I'm taking photos with them. I don't even know what was going on. It was one of the most beautiful experiences of my life because I couldn't speak the language. They didn't know me, I didn't know them, but they were just giving me respect from all my hard work, all my discipline, all the things. And that can be you. This can be you. I'm telling you this because it could be you. It literally can be you. What's stopping you? Well, what? Your resources? What do you got to do? Start a side hustle. Well, you're tired. Get your blood work done. Get testosterone. Boom, check that. Start eating better. Now you get more energy. Boom, check that. Start going to the gym every day. Start training hard. Get uncomfortable. Go through pain every day. It's where you start to get grit. You get strong. Now you can deal with anything. Then your body's going to start to change. And then you're going to start walking around with confidence because you're strong. And all those little aches and pains and all the shit you used to worry about and all the dumb shit that was in your head, whatever you're doing, scrolling, thinking, I wish I had this, that, you're not going to care. Fuck all that. You know? Because you can peel your shirt off and take a good hard look at everybody. So what if it takes you a year? Well, it takes you a year. So what, man? It's only a year. It's only a year to change your life forever. And I'm telling you, and I'm telling you now, you don't even have to be the guy that is already established, has it all. You just got to be the guy on the come up, the guy on the rise, and just watch everything change. And then you'll get used to it. And then eventually you are the guy. And you'll be a completely different person. You'll be happy. You will feel the strength of your body and know what you're capable of. You will have a different outlook on everything. You won't blow things off. You won't procrastinate. You won't let fear eat you alive. Because fears come in all different shapes, sizes, and forms. You don't face your fears, you'll be running from that shit your whole life. The best way to make it happen for yourself where you don't know where to start is to get in a strong men's group. You get in a strong men's group. If you do that, it'll force you to grow. I know, because I've done it so many times. I knew if I just threw myself in an environment, it would force me to grow. Don't be afraid to try. Don't be afraid to start over. Don't tell yourself it's too late. Don't listen to anybody tell you you can't. I love it when people tell me I can't do shit. You know, guys, for those of you that know me, know. For those of you that don't, they told me I was too tall to be a bodybuilder. It's just too tall. I said, fuck you. I'm going to be jacked, and someday you're going to wish you were tall. I'll make you eat those words. So I went at it. And then what happened? Along the way, Flex Magazine comes out and says, hey, Aaron, we want to put you out there as the world's tallest bodybuilder. Wow. What a great day that was for me. The thing that they said was the reason I would never make it became the thing that I was most known for. So, regardless of your situation, regardless of what's going on, work on having discipline. For those of you that don't know me, this is coming from a guy that had leukemia when he was a kid. I couldn't even play outside to everybody else. Nobody expected much out of me. But I knew I would become this person one day. Starts with your mind. Starts with a thought and a feeling. Hold on to it. You want to join me in the Super Squad? I'm going to leave a link to it. Always go on my website, Supernatural Lifestyle. Find me in there. Find guys just like you trying to get there. Let's make these changes. That way you can live the life you always wanted. It's in you. You just need to be pushed. So that's it. So thanks for tuning in. Look forward to seeing you on the inside. Eat right, train hard, stay focused. Don't be a sissy.